The testimonies featured on this channel are presented as received, reflecting the personal experience and perspectives of the individuals who have generously shared them with us. We encourage our viewers to approach these testimonies with compassion and understanding, as these are personal testimonies of people involved. We also encourage you to always refer to the Holy Bible and the teachings of Jesus Christ and his apostles for guidance. You can consider subscribing to the channel to support our ministry. What if everything you ever believed was suddenly turned upside down? What if the very foundation of your faith cracked open in one night? One dream? One encounter? This is not just a story. It is a journey into the unknown, a tale of light piercing through the thickest darkness, a story of love so powerful that it enraged the whole community. Amina was a devoted Muslim woman from a respected family in a deeply Islamic African town. She prayed 5 times a day, fasted, wore her hijab faithfully, and memorized the Quran. Everyone in the community saw her as an example, a role model. But something unexpected happened, something no one was prepared for. One night, Amina had a dream that would change everything. She saw a man she had never seen before. His face radiated peace and glory, yet it burned with a truth she could not deny. He called her by name. He told her something that would cost her everything. But why her? Why did Jesus come to a Muslim woman in the dead of night? Why did he say what he said? And how did her family respond when she dared to speak of it? What did it cost her? And why did she still choose to follow him? You're about to hear a true testimony filled with fear, betrayal, courage, and unbelievable transformation. You will feel her pain, her fear, her hunger for the truth. Jesus told her in the dream, "Tell them I love them, but they are blind. Islam has covered their eyes with darkness. Tell them I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me." Warn them, Amina, time is short. Amina will share everything. The warnings, the dream, the backlash, the silence from her family, the beatings, the betrayals, and the miracles. By the end of her story, you will weep, you will wonder, you will be changed. So please, watch this testimony to the end. Let it speak to you, and if it touches your heart, share it. Let the world hear. Comment below what the country you're watching from. Someone needs to hear this. Now, let's hear from Amina.
Hello, my name is Amina. I come from a small town in West Africa. I was born and raised in a strict Muslim home. My father is a respected elder in the mosque. My mother, a deeply religious woman. All my siblings, devout Muslims. I never imagined, never even dreamed that I would one day sit before a camera and speak the name Isa Almasi as the Lord of my life. But something happened to me. Something no one could prepare me for. I want to ask you, have you ever felt like something was missing, even when everything looked perfect on the outside? Have you ever questioned what you've been taught, but were too afraid to say it out loud? That was me. Growing up, I obeyed. I prayed. I memorized surahs. I fasted during Ramadan and did everything a good Muslim girl should. But inside, there was always this emptiness, a silence I couldn't explain. At night, I would cry for no reason. I would ask Allah to speak to me, but he never did. And I was afraid to ask, why doesn't Allah talk to me? Why do I feel so far? One night, everything changed. I remember that night as if it happened a moment ago. I was lying on my mat, restless, unable to sleep. Then, in the deep of the night, I felt a presence in the room. Not a shadow, not fear, but something holy. Suddenly, I found myself standing in a different place. I didn't know if I was dreaming or awake. I was surrounded by light, warm, soft light. And then I saw him, a man in white. His robe glowed like lightning, but his eyes, oh, his eyes, they pierced right into my soul. I couldn't look away. He called me Amina. He spoke in my language. He knew my name. I was trembling. I dropped to the ground, unable to stand. I cried, "Who are you?" He came closer. He said, "I am Jesus, the one you do not know. I am the Son of the living God. I have come to set you free." I wept. I couldn't understand. I said, "But I am a Muslim. You are not for me." He said, I came for you. You are mine. I asked him, why me? And he said, because I have chosen you. Many are dying in darkness. I want you to tell them the truth. Tell them I love them. Tell them they are blind and I want to open their eyes. Tell them I am the only way. I cried and said, but they will kill me. He answered, they killed me too. But I live. And if you follow me, you will live forever. Then he touched me. I felt fire and peace enter my body at the same time. And I woke up. I was shaking, drenched in sweat, crying. I knew it wasn't just a dream. It was a visitation. But what could I do? I stayed silent for days. I couldn't pray. I couldn't speak. My mother noticed. My father became concerned. Then one night at dinner, I couldn't hold it anymore. I stood up and said, I saw Jesus. Silence. My father dropped his spoon. My mother gasped. My brother shouted, what did you say? I repeated, I saw Jesus in a dream. He called me by name. He said he is the Son of God. Suddenly, everything turned into chaos. My father slapped me so hard I fell to the floor. Blasphemy, he shouted. My brother dragged me outside. My mother cursed me, saying I had brought shame to the family. My sisters wept. That night, they locked me in the storeroom. No food, no water, for 2 days. Then my uncle came, a respected imam in the city. He said they had brought him to cleanse me. He tried to perform what he called deliverance. He chanted. He read Quranic verses over me. He beat me with a stick. But in my heart, all I could hear was, Amina, follow me. I cried in silence, Jesus, help me. And something strange happened. My uncle collapsed on the ground. He said he felt a fire surround him and couldn't breathe. They rushed him to the hospital. After that, they were afraid of me. They stopped beating me, but they watched me closely. My neighbors began to whisper. People spat at me in the street. Children ran from me. I was now known as the girl who betrayed Islam. And still, I followed him. Every night, I prayed in secret. I had no Bible. I had no pastor. But I had Jesus. One night, as I prayed, I asked him, why did you choose me for this suffering? And he answered, because through your suffering, others will live. That broke me. I said, yes, Lord. Let it be so. Then, miracles started happening. That's when the twist in my story began. But I will share that in the next part. Stay with me. Ask yourself, what would you do if Jesus came to you in a dream? Would you have the courage to follow him? Because I did. And it cost me everything. But it was worth it. So, I had lost everything. My family rejected me. My community hated me. I had no one. No one except Jesus. I remember the night after they released me from confinement. I went to sleep in the small kitchen storage behind our house. It was cold, dark. There were rats crawling around. I hadn't eaten in 2 days. I whispered, Jesus, are you still with me? And I felt it. A warmth came over me, like arms wrapping around me in the dark. He was there. I closed my eyes. Then I heard him again in a vision. Amina, rise. I have not forgotten you. Your pain is not in vain. Soon I will send help. The next morning, something strange happened. A woman I had never seen before knocked on the gate. My younger sister opened it and told her, Amina is no longer welcome here. But the woman insisted, Jesus sent me. Tell her that. They slammed the gate on her face. But that night she returned. This time, she stood near the backyard fence and whispered, Amina, Amina. I woke up. I peeked through the wooden slats. She said, come with me. Jesus sent me to rescue you. I didn't know who she was, but her eyes, I saw peace in them. I saw truth. I saw what I had seen in the eyes of Jesus. I followed her. We walked through the bush for 2 hours. Finally, we arrived at a small compound outside the village. There were other women there, and to my shock, they had the same story. One was from a nearby city. Her father was an imam. She had a vision of Jesus in prison. Another was from across the border. Her family tried to burn her alive for leaving Islam. They were all hiding, all ex-Muslims, all women who had seen Jesus. I broke down in tears. I wasn't alone. The woman who brought me said her name was Grace. She was a missionary. God had told her in a dream to go find a girl named Amina. She said, The Lord is raising you for something greater. He said you will speak for many who cannot speak. He said through you, thousands will hear his voice. I laughed in disbelief. Me, a girl rejected by everyone, but something inside me stirred. Hope. The next few months were a season of healing. Grace gave me a Bible. I read it like a starving person eats food. I couldn't stop. When I reached the book of John, I wept for hours. The words of Jesus were exactly what he had told me in my dreams. I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. It wasn't just a message. It was a call. And then the visions came again. One night, I saw fire falling over a city. People were running, screaming. I saw Muslims shouting Allah, but no one came to save them. Then Jesus appeared in the sky. He said, "They are perishing. Who will go for me?" I cried, "I will, Lord. Send me." He looked at me and said, "You will face death, but I will give you life. Speak boldly, even when they raise stones. Speak, even when they raise swords. Speak." I woke up shaking. I knew what he meant. I was being called to preach. But how? I had no training. I was still learning the Bible. Then one day, Grace handed me a microphone at a small underground fellowship. "Tell them your story," she said. I was afraid, but when I opened my mouth, the Holy Spirit took over. I spoke for almost an hour. I wept. Others wept. By the time I was done, 3 women gave their lives to Jesus that night. One of them said, "I've been dreaming of a woman in white calling me out of Islam. Tonight I saw your face." From that moment, I couldn't stop sharing. I would go from one house to another in secret, whispering the gospel to those who were hungry. But then something happened. Someone betrayed us. One night, we were gathered in prayer when a loud banging came on the gate. Armed men, religious police. They burst in, dragged out 3 of us. They tied my hands behind my back, beat me with rods. They shouted, "You are spreading lies. You are confusing women. You are insulting the prophet." I cried, "Jesus is Lord." One of them struck me with his boot. But then something happened I will never forget. As they were preparing to burn our little gathering hut, a man among them, one of the soldiers, suddenly fell to the ground screaming, "Fire! Fire! My eyes! I can't see." They rushed to help him. He cried, She is glowing. I see her glowing. There's fire around her." Everyone stopped. Even the commander was afraid. They released us. Later, that same soldier came secretly to find me. He said, "Who are you? What power do you carry? I saw you surrounded by fire," and a voice said, "Touch not my anointed." I told him about Jesus, and that night he gave his life to Christ. A persecutor became a follower. That's when I knew. This was no longer about my pain. It was about the kingdom. But the price kept rising. When word reached my family that I was now preaching, they disowned me officially. My mother made a public statement that I was no longer her daughter. My father declared that I was under a curse. Some cousins tried to find me and silence me, but God kept hiding me in plain sight. Then Jesus appeared to me one more time. He said, "Do not be afraid. I am with you. You will walk through fire, but it will not burn you. You will speak, and even the hardest hearts will tremble. Go into the cities. Do not hide your voice." That was the beginning of a new season. I went to the city. I stood at a public park, trembling, microphone in hand. I told them my story. Some laughed, some spat, but one woman approached me, crying. She said, "I saw Jesus last week in my dream. He said, 'Go find Amina.'" That day, 12 Muslims gave their lives to Jesus, and it spread like wildfire. Soon, I was receiving messages from Muslims across the region. Some were afraid, some were curious, others were broken. They all had one question: "Is it true? Did you really see Jesus?" And I always answered, "Yes, I did, and he is waiting for you." But the persecution didn't stop. Some nights, I slept in trees, others in drainage canals. Once I was chased with knives and dogs. Another time, I was arrested and interrogated for hours. They wanted to know if I was being paid by foreign governments, but I told them no one paid me. I saw the King of Kings, and I cannot deny him. They eventually released me. And I kept preaching. I have lost my family. I have no country. I have no tribe. But I have Jesus, and He is enough. Still sometimes I ask, why me, Lord? Why choose a simple village girl? And He always says, because you said yes. I never imagined how far this journey would go. I was once a rejected Muslim girl in a dusty African village, hiding behind the walls of shame and fear. Now Jesus was using my voice to touch nations. But the deeper I went, the greater the cost. Soon after the public testimonies began, I started receiving threats from every direction. Not just messages, not just gossip, actual death threats. One night, I was scheduled to speak at a hidden underground Christian gathering in a neighboring town. As I was preparing to leave, a friend rushed into my room. Her face was pale. She whispered, "Cancel the meeting. A group of armed men is waiting for you on the road. They're calling it your final judgment." I froze. My heart pounded. That night, I cried out to Jesus, "Do I continue? Is this how my journey ends?" And again, I saw Him. In the vision, I was surrounded by lions, their mouths open, ready to devour me. But Jesus stepped between us and said, "Even if they roar, they cannot bite unless I allow it. Speak, daughter, speak." So I went, but I changed the route. As we neared the meeting place through the back path, I heard distant gunfire. Later, I learned they had mistaken someone else for me and shot him. He survived and later gave his life to Christ in the hospital, saying, "If I had to take a bullet meant for a servant of Jesus, I want to serve Him too." Tell me, what kind of love turns suffering into salvation? What kind of truth makes even death a doorway? I began to realize this was no longer about fear. This was war, a war for souls. Soon after, I was invited to share my story in another country. I had never flown on a plane. I was scared, but Jesus said, "From this land to the next, you will carry my fire." When I arrived, I was overwhelmed. Thousands of people came. Many were ex-Muslims. Many were still in Islam, curious. That day, I shared everything. The dreams, the pain, the rejection, the miracles. And then I said the words Jesus told me to tell Muslims. Your prayer beads cannot save you. Your fasting cannot redeem you. Your prophet cannot enter heaven, and he cannot take you there. I am the way, the truth, and the life. Come to me. The atmosphere changed. Some wept. Some walked out offended. But over 300 people gave their lives to Jesus that day. It was a revival. One of them was a former imam's wife. She said, "I've heard your voice in my dreams 3 times. When I saw you on the stage, I knew it was time." But not everyone celebrated. When I returned home, the persecution intensified. One night, while preaching in a small open space near the river, I was attacked. 5 masked men grabbed me, tied me up, beat me until I could barely move. They dragged me into a bush to kill me. One of them raised a machete. I whispered, "Jesus, into your hands, I commit my spirit." Then, something I cannot explain happened. A bolt of lightning struck a tree nearby. A loud crack split the air. They screamed in fear. The leader dropped the machete, grabbed his chest, and fell down, dead. The others ran. I crawled away, bleeding, broken, but alive. I spent 10 days in a missionary hospital. During those days, I questioned everything. "Lord, why did you let this happen? I thought you were with me." Then one night, Jesus came again. But this time, He didn't speak first. I did. I said, "I don't understand. Why do I have to suffer so much?" And He replied, "Because you carry my name, and my name is worth it." I wept like a baby. The nurse who cared for me was a quiet man. He never said much. But one day, he came to me and whispered, "I used to be a devout Muslim, but every night I watch your videos. I've been too afraid to say it, but I believe in Jesus now." Even in my weakness, God was still working. After I healed, I returned to the field, and something changed. The boldness became fire. Wherever I went, people fell under conviction. Muslims began reaching out privately, secretly asking, "How can I follow Jesus too?" One woman told me, "I can't sleep. I see a man in white every night. He says, 'Follow me. Find Amina.'" Another man, a former Quranic teacher, came to one of our secret baptisms. He stood silently at the back. Afterwards, he removed his turban and said, "I've taught the Quran for 25 years, but when I heard you speak of Jesus, something broke inside me. I want what you have." He wept like a child. My story was no longer mine. It was now a key unlocking prison doors for others, but with greater impact came greater opposition. A fatwa was declared in my region. A price was placed on my head. My face was printed on posters. "Kill the infidel preacher," it said. Some of my closest allies fled the country. Others went into hiding. But I stayed. Why? Because Jesus stayed on the cross for me. Why would I run from a few threats? One day, while preaching at a refugee camp, a group of boys surrounded me. They looked angry. One of them stepped forward and said, "Are you Amina?" I said yes. He pulled something from his pocket. My heart dropped. But it wasn't a knife. It was a dream journal. He opened it and showed me. Inside, page after page said, "Man in white. Man in white. Man in white." He said, "That man told me you would explain what it means." I hugged him, sobbing. This is why I suffer. This is why I speak. This is why I breathe. Today, by God's grace, over 10,000 Muslims have given their lives to Jesus through this testimony. Some have been baptized in rivers, others in bathtubs. Some have lost everything, but all of them say the same thing. He is worth it. Maybe you're watching this and you're a Muslim. You've had dreams, questions, fears. You've wondered if there's more. This is your moment. Jesus is calling you. Right now, he is standing at the door of your heart. He's not asking for perfection. He's asking for surrender. Will you answer? Will you come? Just like I did. Because I promise you, there is no love like his. There is no truth like his. There is no Savior but him. Jesus Christ is not just a prophet. He is the Son of God. He is the only way to the Father. He is coming back, and he's coming for those who know him. Will you be ready? If my story has touched you, don't keep it to yourself. Share this video. Comment the country you are watching from. Let the world know that Jesus is still speaking, still healing, still saving, even in the darkest places. Your life matters. Your soul matters. Jesus died for you. And like he told me in the dream, tell them, Amina, I am the only way. I died for them. Let them come to me. Now I'm telling you, come to Jesus. He is waiting.